seems to give it getting less.
Here we have a 1955 Series 1 Landrover. It's a petrol engine. This is day one of the rebuild. All I'm doing really is just having a quick look around of it, just to see what I need to buy, what needs to be refurbished and replaced. This is how it came to me. It's a sort of a rolling chassis. The other bits are here. As you can see, it all just comes in a big pile of boxes and bits and loads of stuff in there. I think it's all there. We've got the bulkhead, you see there. The bulkhead actually looks in really good condition. It's been welded down the bottom, but overall I think it's actually okay. So that'll obviously be clean, painted and refurbished and put back together. Well, the other parts, like the tray and the wings, are outside at the moment, so we'll take some pictures of them later on and put them on there. So going through the chassis at the moment, what we've got, start on this corner here. What I've done really, I just want to take a few things apart so I know what I need to order. There's nothing worse than sort of waiting to do something and you wait for some parts to come. So the brake shoes are actually okay. The wheel cylinder was seized. I had a bit of trouble getting it all off. So obviously we'll put new brake shoes in there, new cylinders. The hydraulics, I'm going to change all the pipes, because as you can see they're just sort of not too bad there, but there's big cable ties tying them on. Go to the front, where the front brake pipe goes. I don't know if you can see on this angle there, but they're quite rusty, so I think the best bet is just to take them all off and start again. So, and again, so working from the back corner again, I'm just in the middle of taking the spring out. This bolt there's giving me a bit of a headache, so I'm sure I will. If not, I'll just cut it off and get a new bolt. All the bushes in here, they're all gone. Bushes in the leaves, they've gone. The leaves itself, they do look a bit sorry for themselves, but what I should probably do is just take them apart, clean them, grease them up and put them back. The reason for that is just finance really, because this is going to cost me about £1,000 to do all four. So I think the best thing to do is just have a go at doing them first and see how the Landrover sits with all the body and that back on. So getting in the corner here, the U-bolts, they decided not to come out, and so they actually snapped. So I just took a grinder to them and got them off. So obviously new U-bolts, exactly the same the other side. Going down the chassis, I think these, I'm not really don't know much about Land Rovers really, but I'm pretty sure these are not standard. These have actually been welded on. One of these is out as well. Yeah, this outrigger here for the bulkhead, it's not original apparently. When the bulkhead goes back on, there's a massive great big gap there, so I'm going to have to start measuring up to see what's wrong with it. So I'll probably cut them off and put some new ones on. The rest of it's okay. All the engine mounts are there still. The front is probably exactly the same as the back. I'll have to do the shackles with the bearings and bushes and have a quick look at them. But this is actually 1955. It's only one owner, one previous owner, and it's still in the family at the moment. So the chassis, I can't actually see any welding being done on it. I've been over with sort of a hammer and given it a bit of a clear here and there, but I can't really see too much. But I think all the parts are here, apart from I think the doors. I've still got to get the doors yet that come with it. So the plan really is just to basically get it back together, so give it a good clean, paint it. But obviously I will deal with the brakes, they would be all brand new. The hydraulics would be brand new, obviously slave master cylinders. And then as I go through it, I should probably pull the half shafts out just to see what condition go in, and the bearings. And if they seem okay, I'll probably put them back in again. And the same for the front. I'll just take them apart initially, have a look at them. And if they're okay, I'll put them back together again. The other thing I was going to do is try and move the battery. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is where the battery goes in the front here. And I just definitely want to move it, so I'm not really sure where to move it until I get the engine and gearbox in. So maybe we'll do that afterwards. So this is it. This is day one. This is as far as I've got. Well, it's not very far at all really, but just managed to get the brake drum off. We can get the leaf spring will be out in a minute, and then we'll go from there. But I've got a list of all the parts so far, and unfortunately this is going bigger and bigger and bigger. So there we go. I think the biggest pain in the arse really is getting the bolts undone, because the car's over sort of 60 odd years. Was it 65 years old, whatever it is, and some of these bolts have never been out. But we'll see that they will come out. If they don't, I'll just cut them out and replace them. But I'll need to run a tape measure over it as well, because I'm sure there's some bits on there that have been welded afterwards. And I think these bits here for the tub at the back, that's what we call it, a tub. I'm sure there's another one that goes on there, and that looks like it's been welded. So it's time to put these bushes in. What I've done, I've made a little adapter, or I don't know if you can see it there, to go over the bush. So when you push the bush in, it just pushes the outer part in, not on the inner part. So I see a little tiny little recess in there. So that goes on first. Then we've got just a little spacer part, and obviously the nut. What I'll do, I'll put some cemented seeds paste. So I haven't actually got any copper slip, I've got some aluminium slip. It's exactly the same stuff, but it's how they, and it's just as holes things to work with as well. The reason I put it on there, it'll help it to lubricate to go in, and also if there's any pieces of, any little bits of rust in there or bits and pieces, hopefully it'll fill them all up and get the water out. So, well, that's it, we'll go winding it in and see what happens. Get this out of the way. Well, it's still been cleaned, so hopefully it should go in alright. This has all been boxed in now, and the caps are all boxed in. What else have we got on here? Yeah, like I say, I've just been going round it, and started off with a wire wheel on a grinder, but it keeps catching and throwing me around. But this one, this paint stripping wheel, seems to be working really well. So I've got the worst of it off. I just need to, like I say, I've ordered some more up, so hopefully they come in the next couple of days, so I can finish it all off. The chassis is actually really good. I haven't really found anything wrong with it. The only thing I have found, I haven't found anything wrong, this outrigger, if that's what you call them, outriggers, obviously it's been welded on over the top, because you can see the welds there, welds on the top there, but also on the bottom it's not flush. I can feel under there's some sort of welds under there, but what I need to do is grind that right off, because it looks crap. Grind it right off flush, clean it all out, see what's there, and see if I can run a nice bead of weld underneath it and that seal it all up. Because what'll happen now is, if it's not sealed, the capillary traction will actually happen is it suck all the water in there and it'll start rusting from the inside out. So instead of having a little patch here that's rusty, you're going to have a massive great big patch that's rusty. So that's that. I think that's okay. The only hole I did find, let's have a quick look, I don't know if you can see it from here, is down the bottom of that, the middle chassis, the middle, I don't know what you call it there, whatever this bit's called. There's a big hole. What's that big hole? There's a hole there, and all I've done then, I've cut it out, cut it right up to about here somewhere, put a nice new piece of plate in and welded it back up. Right, springs are pretty much done. I'm just waiting for the bushes to turn up for these. I made a tool up, so they're actually quite easy to put in. So the plan is, what I'd normally do, I don't know if you can see it from there, see where the leaf spring is there. little gap. I want to get some little fox wedges in, bang one in either side just to open up, just to cut off there, clean it all up in there, then the new bushes will just slide in. I might have to push them in a little bit, a little pusher, but they'll all go in. At the moment what I'm doing is just assembling. I've got the, let's have a look, a new dowel pin to go in here. It goes in that way, that way. What else we've got to do? Oh, the spaces, I'm just assembling, I don't know if you can see it, it's upside down. These spaces in here, they've all been renewed, which are these. I actually brought a piece of tube. I just cut them down to the side and machined them on my little lathe. Just give them a quick coat of paint, which the paint already had. Obviously they go in, sort of in there like that. So that's another sort of thing I need to get done. Alright, the axle, I've actually cleaned it all down and painted it all. Turn it around. Actually looks quite nice now. It doesn't look quite so nice in this angle, but really not. Needs another coat yet, but I'll do that when it's in. I'll say the wheel cylinders that go on here. I don't think it's going to focus. Come on, in your own time. I'll have to do it out of focusing. I've got new wheel cylinders coming, new brakes, new springs. This adjuster, I don't know if you can see it on there, it's all worn and floppy, so I've got a pair of them. I only worked out about £5, something ridiculous. So I'm not going to touch the axle as such. There is quite a bit of a play. Probably too much really, but I think I'll be opening a can of worms if I open that up. But like I say, at a later date, if we decide we need to take it apart, we can take it apart. As you can see, the chassis is all painted now. I did have to give it 2 coats, well, partly to protect it and partly because I missed a few bits and pieces. You can see the axle's in, the brake pipes all done, all connected up. I had to make all new brake pipes. The brakes themselves got new wheel cylinders, new brake shoes. The damper's just hanging there at the moment. I'm just waiting to fit it. These bits here is where the straps go. I'm just waiting for some paint to dry on the clamps that hold the straps on. A quick walk around and see the brake pipes are done there. And that's got a little kink in that little bend there, and that pipe there. I'm going to straighten that up, but I'll do that later on. I was going to do it the other day, but the paint was still wet. As you can see, the other side's done completely. Going back over to here again, see the springs in, all the hoses all connected up there. As you can see there, the nuts are actually left loose because I'm just waiting to get the tub on the back. As soon as the tub's back on, we've got a bit more weight on it, and then I can sort of nip them up. So like I say, there's all new bushes in there, new bushes in the springs. There's actually sitting on axle stands now, so I don't know if you can see it. So I can sit bouncing or not. Yeah, well, that's good enough. Yeah, so that's that bit all done. I'm going through now. The idea is just going to do half at a time, makes it a bit easier. So I've done the back now. Handbrake's been done. That's all worked a treat. Got to do the connecting rod, that needs a bit of coat paint. Now I'm just sort of starting in the front now. The bits I'm starting is a brake pedal and a clutch lever. As you can see the state of them, they're completely rusty, so I've got to refurbish all them, and in here there's a couple of bushes missing. I've got to make some new bushes up. And I don't know if you can see there, it's all split. So there's quite a bit of work to do on this, so what I'll probably do, I'll probably concentrate on the clutch lever, brake lever, just get them all reconditioned. Make sure they're all nice. I've ordered a new master cylinder, but I've got to sort something out with the bracket there. So that's pretty much it now. So quick overview of it again. So the paint I use is like a military paint. The reason I chose that over sort of the normal sort of hammerite stuff is that it dries really slowly, which is really good. So you can brush it on. Well, I say brush it on. I actually use a little tiny roller, and it gets nice effect. You see it on the camera, see nice effect on it. It's really nice. It's a satin black. It's quite tasty. It's completely bolted on now, as you can see. Right across here. I've actually used 10mm bolts rather than 3/8 UNF. Like I said before, I've got a good deal from Screwfix, so I'm not too fussed about being metric where the imperial should be. So I'll go from there. So that's all done now. It's all bolted down, and the front. the back part there. I obviously left it because I had to weld these two tabs on, but they're all painted now. So I've managed to get hold of a Series 2 master cylinder, which is this one here. It's a cheap and cheerful Chinese one, obviously no name on it whatsoever, so but it looks okay. We can't even see it anyway when it's bolted on. But what it did have is this push rod in there. I managed to sort of take it out and put the original Landrover one back in. The reason I wanted it really is because of the end. So that's all done there. This is a bit of one of the adjusters which I haven't actually cleaned up or painted yet. That's for the I think it's for the brake pedal. Right, the next bit I want to do on the chassis is once the back's all done and the tub's all on, I'm going to start from sort of about here, and I'll strip all this down, get rid of the old brake lines, because this, you can see this one here, that one's actually rusty. There's two different types of brake line they've used here. One's a steel one and one's like a copper. So I'm going to replace them all with new because we've got a roll of it, so it'll be quickly done. So the plan really in the front is really to do the chassis, paint it all up as much as I can. I don't really want to address the axle too much at the moment because obviously that's going to be a bit costly, because obviously we've got to do all the swivel joints that were rusty. I can do them afterwards, it's not a problem. So the idea really is to get all the chassis painted and drop the engine and gearbox in. As you can see, the Landrover's been painted in the front, all the chassis all nicely painted now. It's had two coats. The paint I use is a military paint. The reason I use it rather than this Hammerite is that it's easy to brush on and roll on. I use a little roller, you can see it gives a really nice finish. And also the best thing about it as well, you can actually overpaint it. With the Hammerite, once it's brushed on, you can't brush it back again. And also it's very slow drying, so you can actually sort of go over it a few times and it doesn't mess the finish up. I've started putting bits and pieces back together on the chassis. As you can see, we need to wipe that off a little bit, but that's one of the bushes I've actually pushed back in there. It's a brand new bush there. That side there had the original two-piece one, so there's like two bushes in there. Now I've changed it over for the one-piece one. And again on this side, so I've decided to wipe a bit anti-seize grease off. That one's in there, it's ready to go back on. So back on, it's actually in there. The front springs, I've actually taken both of them completely apart. I've cleaned them all up, wire wheeled them and flat wheeled them and all sorts of stuff. And in between the leaves, I don't know if you can see it or not there, I've put anti-seize grease as well. That's the aluminium type rather than the copper slip, only because I had it. So to get the springs apart was a bit of a pain because these tabs here, I haven't got any oxyacetylene, so I just do it cold. So I just put a chisel on there, bent them up either way, and managed to get them apart. And they actually went back together alright. So I'm not sure how many times you can do that before they snap off, but they're actually fine at the moment. Obviously the front of the springs up here, I've had new bushes in there. If I had new bushes, I'll put new bushes in there. These little spacers in there, I had to get some tube because they're all rusty. I've replaced them with 10mm bolts rather than UNF bolts, or 3/8 UNF bolts. So as you can see, they're quite nice now. They're just ready to go back in. Obviously they can go on there with the shackles. I had to buy one more shackle because one of the shackles had the threads was actually seized in it. I also sort of messed about trying to take it all out, but it was about £4.50, so ridiculous. So I bought one of the shackles, so they go back in tomorrow. These holes here, I think these are for the bulkhead. They look a bit rusty, but I'll give them a good clean out. Obviously top shock mount, it's all ready to go. Oh, that's fell over there. Steering relay, I didn't really do a great deal with that because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and they're a bit of a pain in the arse to get out. And there's no sort of game with them anyway, so the only thing I did do there was this holding in plate there. The original one was all rusty, so I cut it right across there, ground it all back and welded a new one in there, and that sort of comes with some nice new, again, metric bolts. What else we got around here? Oh yeah, the master cylinder that I had a lot of problems with in the past. I've actually fitted it now. But you can see I've got the other pipe to go in there for the reservoir, but these coppers are all done there. Master cylinder's all bolted in there. I had to weld in a plate in there and with a hole in some studs. So that's on another video anyway. But so that braking system's all done up, right up to this connector block now. The next thing to do now is run the brake pipes from here on top of the chassis, curl it round for the brake pipes there, and the same on the other side, but it has to go across the cross member. And so on. This little grommet there is basically for the wiring loom. I'm pretty convinced that's where the wiring loom goes. I've actually threaded this right through the chassis, right to the back, and it comes out through another grommet. So that's all ready for the wiring loom when we come to go. The other parts I've done here, or getting ready now, is for the brake pedal, or the clutch pedal, brake pedal, and the little, they call it, everything's called a relay on these things. The clutch relay goes in there, and obviously the connecting rod goes onto here. I've cleaned all these out. I've got to clean them up again because I put some paint on them, but there's a grease nipple on there now. So that's all ready to go back together. I've painted the pedals again, so that should look nice. So what else we got? There's nothing else. Oh, the handbrake. Again, that's all connected up now. I'm just getting ready to put the front axle back together. I've done part of it. I think it's must be the near side. That's the off side. We start off with the half shaft. The UJs in the half shaft's actually fine, so I'm not going to touch those. Obviously the bearing I've had to change. I had a bit of trouble getting the main bearing off, or the inner race, so what I had to do, I tried pulling it off and it wouldn't have it, so what I did, that you can see on here now, oh, the camera's gone here, I had to grind it off. I put like an X shape in it, an X cut in it, so what I did, I put an X sort of down there and down there, and on the opposite side, and just split it open. Then I managed to get my puller behind the retainer, and pull it off. To get it back on, all I did really with the inner race, I used a bit of indirect heat. I've got a heat gun somewhere, hide in there, so I don't know where it is, I must put it away. I heated it up, and I just slid it over, and it just went in there nicely. The retaining sleeve was a different matter. What I've done, I got a propane torch, and I heated it up till it went to light straw, the colour. You can see it's still light straw now, and that slips straight over nicely. It's a nice snug fit. So that's the half shaft actually done. The swivel, that's ready to go back in. All I've got to do now is just clean that face up. I put the bearing in. That went into a lovely one. It went in a treat actually. What I did, I put the actual swivel, whole swivel in the oven. I left it in there for half an hour, and the bearing itself, I put it in the fridge, or the freezer rather, overnight. And when I put them out, it just fell straight in, so that's no problem. Exactly the same with the top bush and the bottom one. That's exactly the same. The outer race of the taper roller, that went in the freezer as well. So the swivel's ready to go back on. Just need to clean that face off. I've got a new oil seals, or lip seals, or whatever you're going to call them, in the retainers. You can see that quite nice. You can see the old one there. The state that was. The actual rub is actually rock hard. This is nice and flexible. Right, the extra's all ready. I was actually waiting for the gasket. I did order all the parts, but unfortunately Craddock's forgot to send me the gasket. I did have some gasket paper, but it wasn't quite wide enough, so I had to wait for the gasket to come down. That's all ready. It's all cleaned, wiped out. All the flanges on the end, they're all clean. They're ready to accept the seals in there. What else we got? And the diff itself. That's all been checked over. That's all cleaned. That's all ready to go back in. Again, I know I said it before, we've got the gasket in there. That's all ready. Today I'm mainly going to concentrate on the engine. The engine's been out the landy for, it's about 26 years. It's been stored in a barn undercover, so I don't think it's sort of got any damp or anything like that in it. Luckily, I don't know what that was, so it's on back. Luckily all the fluids have been drained out. Unfortunately the oil has as well. There's no oil in it, but obviously there's no water in it. I've taken the rocker cover off to have a quick look, and everything, believe it or not, considering that's been sitting for 26 years, looks in very good condition. So I was going to whip the head off, but I'm a bit reluctant at the moment, so I might just leave that alone, just try and fire it up as it is. The only thing I did find was down here on the exhaust valves, this one here, that was actually stuck open. What I did, I give it a little tiny tap, and it was the smallest of small taps. It just sprung back again. So I think it might be okay. What I've done, I've actually backed off all these valves here at the moment, and the bores themselves, I filled them up with ATF, automatic transmission fluid. Today I'm going to try and get the sump on the Landy. The reason it's taken quite a while is just for silly reasons really. The main reason is where the Landy is at the moment, to get under the front of the Landy after opening the garage door and lay across it, but it's been raining hard for the last sort of week or so. So I've got a little break in the weather now, so I'm going to quickly get under there and get the sump on. I had a couple of issues with the sump, apart from it being full of muck and slurry and all sludge. It's all nice and clean now. Is these two bolts here. The rest of them studs, that's 5/16 BSF studs, apart from this one and that one. I looked in the catalogue and it does actually call up for width of stud bolts. These are which is one of the bolts that come out. I don't know if it's going to focus on there or not, but it's actually pulled a little bit of the thread out. But I did check it out. Oh, you can't really see the thread, it's not going to focus. But the thread is actually Whitworth. I've checked it all out, and I've got some nice new bolts here. As you can see, the oil filter's in. What I wanted to try and show you, don't think I'm going to do it or not, is to try and show you the bores. There isn't actually any cross hatching on there, which I was hoping it's going to be. But they look quite smooth, so maybe this engine's done a bit more work than we originally thought. So that's it. We've got the big end bearings. I've actually got split pins in them. I've not actually seen that before. There you go, learn something new every day. Anyway, so let's get ready to put the sump on before it drops out of the sky. Oh, the other thing is I'm a bit too close to that, but the oil filter, I've taken that off and give it a good clean. So we're pretty much all ready to go. Just a short video just to show you how I do the valve clearances on the Landrover. What I've done, I've got the setup at the moment. I've got it on top dead centre for number 1. I checked with the distributor cap. Obviously the rotor arms there, he's pointing there, and that is number 1. So we put the spark plug and the bolt in there. All it is, if I can quickly show you, it's not exactly the same, but this one here is, I'll just use a spark plug, drilled it through 10mm, and put a bit of 10mm rod through it. This particular one in my hand is used for a different application where I've welded it, but the one that's in there now is just basically that part of the spark plug with a 10mm bolt. And what I've done, I've actually faced off the edge. So what I can do, I can actually turn the engine over, and that's on top dead centre on number 1. I can turn it over till I get zero lash on there. I don't know if I do it one-handed or not. It is moving, see. So you can get it to that is top dead centre, and double check it. You just go around. You won't be able to see it on the camera here, but the timing mark in there is right up the top there. You can't actually see it on the camera, but that's on top dead centre as well. So all I need to do now is do the adjustments on valve clearances, and they are, I'm not sure which way around it in. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look. Another 10 and 12, and they are inlet is 10. Oh, that's upside down. Inlet is 10, exhaust is 12. So what we do, let's throw that on the floor for a second. So all we do there is get it up to, so it's rocking on the 0. So we know it's at top dead centre. Now I can adjust number 1 exhaust, number 1 inlet. Then you go through the firing order, which is 1, 3, 4, 2. So I go 1, now go into number 3, which is here, and I'll do exactly the same, get it up to top dead centre, do both the valves, then to 4, 1, 3, 4, then 2. This is the quickest way I found of doing it. I've had a quick look around on loads of forums, and some of them obviously you can do it under the rule of 9, but it takes forever, and there's another way you can do it, it takes even longer. This seems the quickest way. What I've been doing, obviously as you can see the wings are on, bonnet's on, I think the front grille was on before actually, the lights are actually connected, bumper and the wing. If I go through a few bits and pieces and show you what I've done. Right, first problem I had was this wing, which is obviously the offside. I don't know if I can show you or not, but when the phone decides to focus, that's not going to focus, so it'll have to be a bit blurry. This little bracket here I had to make, basically because the top of the grill, which is sort of there, was actually missing. So what it actually does, all intents and purposes, is ties. Let's get back a little bit. It ties the top of the grill to the wing. These brackets here, I didn't really want to put them on, but there's actually did have some brackets very similar to it before. I couldn't find them, but it actually left a big mark on there so you could see where they went. So I thought it'd better make some nice new ones. So they're actually made now, that side and that side. But what I'm going to do, I'll just get some self-etching primer, etch them all up, then put some green over the top of them. I found out the colour of this green. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but no, I can't remember. Then I'm going to paint them green. Then I'm just going to get some wire wool and just scratch them up a little bit, so hopefully it'll all blend in. These, I don't know what you call them, the coach bolts, but they were bright zinc, and what I've done with them, I wanted to age them a little bit, so what I've done, I heated them up and quenched them in some hot oil, and it got a nice finish like that. On the other side, I don't think you're really going to be able to see this too much, but round there's a little bracket that holds the top of the wing to the grill. Obviously the hole was actually pushed out, and so I sort of make a spreader bar or spreader plate across it. So that's all done now. Well, the next thing was the radiator. The radiator just bolts to the shroud here. But when I bolted it on, it wasn't very secure, and I thought, well, time you get a bit of water in the radiator, it's going to wobble all over the place. It's actually solid as a rock now, so what I actually did, I'll show you inside. There's still a bit of a swarf down there I need to get out. But I made this bracket up, which goes, the wiring's in the way at the moment, goes all the way down here. And I actually put some captive nuts on the bottom of the chassis. And so what happens now, the radiator bolts through the shroud and straight onto this angle and gives it a bit more support, which is so strong now, it's unbelievable. I've done that very similar to the other side. There, that hole there was actually a tapped hole in the landy anyway, and I've done exactly the same there. I can get through. There we go. And the actual angles that I put on there, believe it or not, I did paint them on the reverse side, so that when I come to put them in, I actually go over them with a bit of paint and touch them up. While I'm at the front, the wiring's actually all done now. From the front, the indicators, the side light, major problems with, because especially that one, it's actually rusted solid because the gauge at the back had obviously split and just filled up with mud. It took me a while cleaning it up and freeing it up. You can't actually buy them anymore. I had a look, you can buy the 2-pole ones, but not single pole ones, so I managed to make one good one out of some bits and pieces I had. So these are actually all wired up now. Headlights are in. I just ordered some new bulbs. The only thing I wasn't sure about the headlights, I've got the wiring here, is which one's dip and which one's full. I can't really tell by looking inside the headlight, so that's why I've left these ones out at the moment. That's just a spare wire, that one. So we've got dip and main beam coming from the dashboard, and these are the offside headlamps, these are the near sides. So when I get a bit closer I can work out what's what. Right, the offside front wing at the bottom did actually have a repair already made to it, which was, I can get it into focus, which was this piece of plate here. Obviously it's gone rusty on the back, and obviously the bottom of the wing wasn't actually fixed to the bulkhead. So what I've done, if I can just pause it. Now what I've done, I've actually made a plate on the inside, so there's a plate on the outside, probably so that fixes to the bulkhead, which is quite good because the bottom of the wing didn't actually, the hole had all eroded down there anyway, so I had nothing to fix it with. Obviously that's all bolted in now. Again to the top one, that was a massive great big elongated hole. I'm not convinced that there was actually ever bolted on, because I like to elongate the holes quite a bit, so there's a nice stainless steel spreader plate over that one. So that's all nicely in there. I will sort of seal in with some sort of sealer later on, I'm not sure what. Right, the near side wing. It's not going to focus. This is. I managed to get 3 of the 4 bolts drilled out and tapped. The one I couldn't get out was that one there. The captive nut, all it's doing is spinning round and round. So what I've done, I've drilled and slotted another one just above it. It's got a captive nut in the bulkhead now, so they're all in there nicely now. Almost finished Landrover Series 1. It does actually start and run now really nicely. All I've got left to do on the front is do the steering. I've got to set the arm up, which is down there, where it goes from the steering box to the steering relay. Everything else under here is all done. What else we got down there? Fuel pump actually works as it should now. The only thing that's missing on the front at the moment is the fan belt, which is actually out of stock at the moment, but should be with me in the next couple of days. Inside the cab's all finished. All the dashboard's all back together. Obviously I've left the steering wheel off at the moment because it does get in the way quite a bit. Pedals, I've got the brake pedal in, the brakes are all done. Clutch pedal is going back in today. Obviously the throttle's all working, connected handbrakes are working. As you can see, the battery's been relocated under here now. Yeah, so I'll give it a quick wipe over, quick oil up. It looks really nice, looks quite original. The only thing that doesn't look original at the moment is the start button, but obviously I'll probably paint that green or do something with that. So that's the inside of the cab. I've got one of the 2 doors on at the moment. I can't get the other one on at the moment because I haven't got the width in the garage, so I'm just hoping it all fits. I've got the piece at the top to go in. I'll do that in a minute. Let's close the door up. Everything looks nice. Oh, the wing's got loads of dents and marks on it, but I think it looks pretty cool. Just better put the front wheels on. Put them on in a minute. Looking at the back of the cab now. I've got the spare wheel mounted. We've got a set of, well, that's a brand new tyre on that one. And the wheels actually in the other garage at the moment. There's a bit cluttery out here at the moment, but it's all been cleaned up nicely. It's quite original. On the back, all nice and clean and tidy. There's a few bits and pieces like that around about, shouldn't be there. That's there. The only thing I'm a bit concerned at the moment is getting it out of the garage. Because on the roof, I was always going to put the canvas top on, but I'm not 100% sure I'm going to have enough room because the back's got to come up quite a bit to get the wheels on. So I'll just have a quick nice walk around. I'll get the wheels on and put some water in the radiator. There's a steering wheel. I haven't got a centre for it, but I've just been offered one, so I'll have to think about that because it's quite expensive, but we'll see. Again, inside the cab looks really nice. I'm really pleased with that. Really. The only thing that isn't original in here, unfortunately, is this little panel here. But what I might do is I might get some more wool and just scratch it up a bit, because what I've done underneath there, I put a primer, an etch primer, then I've sprayed it black, then I painted it green. So hopefully you rub it through, it might sort of come through to a bit of the black. Everything on the dash works. That's the dash light, hasn't got a button for it. The only thing that doesn't work is the washer, which I'm going to have to sort out. The windscreen wiper actually works. Found the mirror for it yesterday. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to have a slow walk round, you can see. And there's the other door. Yeah, they've got these brackets on here. They were actually on it when we got it. They don't look that much out of place really, but they might have to have a little bit of a rough up, just get a bit of oil all over them. Again, I'll put some primer underneath it, so hopefully as you rub through it, it comes through to the primer. All the electrics works now, apart from that one. I thought I'd put the near side door on. And the only problem is I couldn't actually get it on properly because I had to take the middle hinge off, because you have to open the door sort of about 180 degrees to get it on. So what I've done, I've slipped the middle hinge off, and I'll show you how bad the door's fitting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it at the moment, so let's have a quick look. I'll turn it. Oh, it's got caught up. Get off. Let's turn the camera around the other way. That's the sort of fitting I've got at the moment. I think I've done the other and down here like. I better adjust the lock a little bit, or the catch. I think this top bit is not too bad, because I think the other side I just bent it. But the problem I've got really is that's the middle hinge I've had to take off. Because the other, obviously the top one and the bottom one just slot straight in, but the middle one here you have to bend it, open the door near enough right back on itself to get it in. So, right, the other thing, just quickly, I had to change was the rear lights. These ones are so much better. These sort of round ones, they sort of keep in sort of well, they look as though they sort of period correct. The reason I had to change them, I want to show you or not. These are the lamps I originally bought, which are okay, but I think they're from Series 3 maybe. Believe it or not, I couldn't get any bulbs for them, because the normally the brake and stop bulbs, they have like a staggered pin, and these ones were parallel. I just couldn't get any bulbs anywhere. Now, they're the same as the side light bulbs. I don't know if we've got one here or not. Yeah, I found one. This is a side light bulb. See those sort of parallel pins? And that's the same as what these fittings are for this one. I'm just trying to fit the cover on the Landy. It's been rolled up for so many years, it's all gone a bit creased, so I thought what I'll do, I'll just lay it on the top just for a while and just let it sort of hang down and let it drop out a little bit. It's actually in quite good condition considering. The only thing's wrong with it is the ropes. I'm going to have to get another ball of rope or whatever it comes with. It took me a while to work out which way around it goes. Apart from that, it's actually really good. Let's have a quick look in there. Obviously we've got the front there to pull up. Again, it's got some like a rope on it, but it's a different sort of stuff. I might change that and put proper rope. It doesn't actually go underneath the little hooks on the windscreen very well. These straps here, I know that one goes in like that. So it's all looking good. So no, so I'll give it a couple of days to sort itself out. And that needs pulling tight, because that needs pulling under there. So I think the way to do these is start from the front, hook it on the hooks on the windscreen, which is round here. So all these little hooks here, put them under there first, then you pull it back tight. I've actually watched a YouTube video, so I know roughly how it goes. The other thing I was going to show you is the door. Let's have a quick look. Well, the previous video I showed you the door wasn't actually fitting very well. I've got it fitting the best I can now. I've lined it all up. It looks pretty good now. Actually opens and closes properly. I've got the gap on here. I don't even remember if it's a massive great gap. There is a gap there, but it's just the width of the rubber now, so that's all looking good. Let's have a sheet of it. What I did, I'll show you what I did. This top rail, I took that out, did it on both sides, and then what I wanted to do is get the windscreen to come back a bit more this way towards me. The only way I could do it, or realise I could do it, was on the mounting point here, with this clamp sort of locks the windscreen down. So there's two bolts here and there's some elongated holes. So I just knocked this down a little bit and that pulled the windscreen back nicely, which is really good. The door was fitting. I did the catch. I unbolted that, freed it up and pushed it in a little bit. And that made the gap disappear. And the top of the gap here, that went sort of there. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's there. I pretty much bent it. I actually put my knee on there, held it on there and pulled it, and then actually straightened it right up nicely. So a bit of brute force. The only thing I'm not sure is how good the gaps are supposed to be, or how good they were when they came out of the factory. Today I'm going to show you how I bleed the brakes on my Capri. I know there's loads of different ways you can bleed them, but normally it takes two people, or loads of expensive equipment with vacuum pumps and air compressors and the like. So I'm going to show you the way I do it, and the way it works every time. You can do it by yourself. You don't need to go and get the wife, and so she sits there for about 10 minutes pushing the pedal and moaning and whining. So this is how I do it. But what I'll do, I'll show you a couple of alternatives first. Firstly is the vacuum pump, which I brought from Fleabay ages ago. It's okay, but it doesn't really work. Basically all you do, I don't really want to touch it because it's covered in brake fluid, but basically you set it up to your bleed nipple, create a vacuum by pumping the lever here, crack the valve open, the bleed nipple open, got a quarter turn, and it should draw all the air out of the system. It sort of works, but works for the front brakes okay, but not the rears. The other one you might be familiar with is this one, which is the brake, is a tube, and in the bottom there somewhere, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's a little tiny split. But then again, you still need two people to do it. This normally goes into a jar with some fluid, and then again you still got to get somebody in the driver's side to press the brake pedal while you sort of release the bleed nipple. So that's okay, but I'm by myself, so I'll show you how I do it. Right, this is a setup I've got. It's quite simple and straightforward. All you need is a bit of clear plastic tube. It doesn't have to have a non-return valve in it or a split. It needs to be quite a nice push fit onto your bleed nipple, which is there. Obviously I've got the spanner on the top ready and waiting. The pipe goes into a little container, which I've used a bottle, but the pipe, the tube that goes through, I've actually put some cable ties there and underneath. I put a cable tie around there with a little loop on it so I can hold the bottle. The tube goes into the bottle, just near to the bottom, and I fill it up with a little bit of brake fluid. That little piece in there, you can see it's just a connector because the tube eye wasn't long enough. Now, the way you bleed the brakes is the normal stuff is you go from the furthest wheel cylinder away from the master cylinder, which in this case is the passenger rear. Then you go to the driver's rear, then the passenger front, and then the driver's front. I've done the back. I thought I'd do a video on the front one because it's quite hard to see at the back because I've got loads of wheelie bars and that in the way, but I'll show you how it works. So I've topped up the master cylinder, that's all nice and full up. So all you need to do is crack the bleed nipple quarter of a turn. Don't do it anymore because the air will come into it. So you just crack it, quarter of a turn. Oh, I can get my hand on it. That's all you need, quarter of a turn. So the idea is when you push, you have to push the brake pedal down very slowly and up. Do about 3 or 4 times. Probably won't need many times because obviously this one's actually been bled. So what you'll see is that initially when I put the pedal down, you'll see some brake fluid coming out of the pipe there, coming up. And when I let it go, it come back in and it start drawing up from here. But what it does, it actually draws up brake fluid rather than air. So it's a simple and easy way of working, but it does work every time. So the whole system's pretty much done there. There might be a little bit of air in the front, but I'll pump it a few times and we'll see how we get on. And don't forget, when you pump it, you can get out of the car and come round and have a look. So, you know, it's no dramas. It's ever so easy, ever so simple, and all it costs you is an old bottle, plastic clear bottle, and a piece of tube. That's it. Well, let's go and try it out. Well, that's it. I've done it about 4 times, and you can see it's pretty. I'm not sure if any bubbles come out because I couldn't actually see it, but I'm sure there's, judging by the brake fluid in there, it's actually spot on. So that's good. So that's that one done. Just the other side to do now, and that's it.
Seems to give it getting less.